UFC Vegas 102, Jared Cannonier takes on Gregory Rodriguez. This is the Funkin' Flex MMA preview and prediction show. I appreciate y'all for tuning in this evening or whatever part of the day you may be watching this back at. While you're here, drop a like on the like button. Hit subscribe to make sure you're locked in for the rest of the content that I got coming out through the 2025 year. The preview and prediction show is posted every Wednesday where I go over my early picks, and the Friday betting breakdown show comes out at 8:30 Eastern. Every week we do 2 videos a week. Make sure you follow me on Funkin' Flex MMA on Instagram. I got my official picks posted there every weekend as well. We're coming off of a 7-4 week, actually 7-4-1 for those that were keeping track. We did have the one draw last week. And, well, I hope to do better. I thought that the side we were on in the draw won with Jimmy Crute. Nonetheless, split or a draw, judges were torn on it. So you can't really hate. It was a close fight. Nonetheless, it's nice to get back on a positive record. We did go 3-1 in the confident picks as well as the lock of the week smash. So I'm very excited to break down this fight for you tonight, give you the early picks, and then we're even more excited to carry the momentum into Friday night for the betting breakdown. But without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump into the first fight of the night. Julia Avila versus Jacqueline Cavalcante, who is going to be the pick in this one. Although it is ranked 12 versus 13 in this division, Jacqueline Cavalcante is on the up, and Avila looks like she is just fighting for a paycheck to me. I'm a fan of Cavalcante as a prospect, and with her 90% takedown defense, she should be able to stay on the feet, where her striking is significantly better than Julia Avila. Even though it's a minus 600 odd here, I wouldn't be surprised if Avila gets knocked out here. I think that Cavalcante's volume could be a problem. And although this is a spot that I normally would look to bet a decision for Cavalcante, I just have a gut feeling that she might get the KO here, and that might end up on the Friday betting breakdown show. Nonetheless, the pick for the first fight is going to be Jacqueline Cavalcante. Second fight of the night, we have Don'Tale Mayes taking on Walter Walker, the younger brother of Johnny Walker. And while you may see Johnny Walker show extremely creative strikes, his brother at the heavyweight could not be a more different fighter. I'm very torn on this fight, and while I don't think that either are a high-level heavyweight or have much of a future in this very weak division, I do tend to think that Walter Walker is going to be able to implement his game plan more with takedowns. I think Don'Tale Mayes may have the better striking, may be the better athlete, but as far as mixed martial arts game goes, I gotta trust Walter Walker's wrestling and jiu-jitsu background, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this heavyweight fight go to a decision. Um, yeah, really kind of torn on this one, a low confidence pick, but it's going to be Walter Walker. Moving along, Vince Morales takes on Elijah Smith. And I don't know who Vince Morales pissed off in the UFC matchmaking, but they have given him two savages in a row as he faced Taylor Lapilus in his UFC debut in France. And while he did look tough in that fight, Lapilus is not known for his finishing ability. He did have his way on the feet, and Vince Morales really didn't get to show his anything else other than his forward pressure and potentially his chin. Where on the other hand, Elijah Smith making his UFC debut is a very fast, up and coming prospect who has quick striking. He's very slick on the feet, and he does have a wrestling background that he's not needed to show yet in his MMA career. Could this be the fight? We'll see. Vince Morales did show a lot of toughness against Taylor Lapilus, but I think that Elijah Smith looked like the more powerful striker to me. And with that extra wrestling and maybe speed and slickness on the feet, I think Elijah Smith could be a very dangerous prospect. So go ahead and give me Elijah Smith for the pick in this fight. Up next, we have Gabriel Bonfim versus Chaos Williams. And I tended to lean towards Chaos Williams when I first heard this fight announced. After sitting and chewing on it, I do think Gabriel Bonfim is the more well-rounded fighter, and I think they're giving him a matchup here against a striker or a wrestler in Chaos Williams who's not as dangerous on the feet. Gabriel Bonfim is definitely the better jiu-jitsu here, and with Chaos Williams, in my opinion's path to victory is going to be the takedowns. I think Gabriel Bonfim does a great job on the feet closing that reach advantage, and he's going to be the pick for this next fight here in the first of the Bonfims on the card. Up next, Battle of the Little Dudes, we have Rafael Estevam versus Jesus Aguilar. And I'm going to take a dog shot here on Jesus Aguilar. I think his ground game is going to be live at any point in this fight. Well, Rafael Estevam may not need to take it to the ground. That second that he gasses and decides to shoot a sloppy takedown, I think that Aguilar's guillotine is another world. I also like Aguilar's power, so if it does stay on the feet, I wouldn't mind uh, overhand KO. But I do tend to lean the submission here, as Aguilar has 7 in his 13 pro MMA fights, and I think that Estevan might have a weaker gas tank than people are expecting and anticipating. The line is definitely way too far in this one, and for that, I think it should be close to a pick 'em. So the value for me in the pick is going to be on Jesus Aguilar. Moving along, Jared Gordon takes on Marjaban Ruzaboyev, and I think that Ruzaboyev is slightly being overlooked here, but making his UFC debut against a guy like Jared Gordon, who has just busted so many prospects, I can't get caught picking against him again. So I'm going to go Jared Gordon as the pick here. I haven't seen as much film on Ruzaboyev as I'd like, so that may flop throughout the week. But the early lean is going to be Jared Gordon to give him a veteran test here. I think Gordon's got underrated striking, and his pressure and clinch game is on another world compared to Ruzaboyev from what I've seen. So go ahead and give me Jared Gordon as the pick. Bringing us to the featured prelim on the card, we have Angela Hill taking on Ketlin Souza. And this is very similar to the last fight. I'm going to be going Angela Hill on the pick here. The 10-year-older fighter is generally not a trend that you like to go with. But on this, I do think that Angela Hill has looked more impressive against her upper level competition. I know that Ketlin Souza is more on the up, while Angela Hill is more on the down part of her career. But I think Angela Hill is going to be the better striker on the feet, and I really can see her winning 2 rounds in this, no matter how it goes, whether it be 1-3, 1-2, 2-3 after she drops around. Angela Hill, with the experience, knows how to make adjustments, and her striking continues to improve in my eyes. Even at 40 years old, she looked the best to me on the feet in her last fight. Definitely gave Tabitha Ricci a tough decision in that split. And I think that Angela Hill positioned herself to even maybe win that fight. I did have Ricci winning it, but Angela Hill is going to be the pick for this one, as I think she's just the higher level of competition and she has the more experience. Kicking off the main card, we have a couple of fighters with not a ton of UFC experience here. Jose Delgado actually making his debut after the dominant win on the Contender Series. And I'm going to have to go Jose Delgado here. He is definitely the better striker on the feet. Connor Matthews, I think they're throwing him to a savage prospect to get cut on the roster, as he gave Bazooka his only win, and it was by KO, and that's that guy's only win in the UFC. He lost his first Contender Series fight. I just don't think that he's at this level of competition. And that being said, I am going to go Jose Delgado for the pick to kick off the main card. Up next, Rodolfo Vieira takes on Andre Petroski. And while initially I wanted to lean Andre Petroski in this one, I just think Vieira is going to have the better gas tank with Petroski taking this fight on short notice. It's not a very confident pick, but for the second fight of the main card, I am going to be going Vieira. I think that as his cardio lasts, he does have the better end grappling. What do I mean by that? End of fight grappling, where he's able to keep himself in it enough. Where Petroski's more of just win scrambles, and I don't really rate his striking too high. So for that being said, as the fight gets later on, Vieira should pull ahead. And I think that if Petroski may have taken this with a full camp and not had already cardio worries as it is, then he may be the pick in this one. But I can't go a dog spot on Petroski when he's taken it on short notice and he's had such bad cardio problems. So enough about Petroski. You can tell it's more of a fade on him than it is backing Vieira. But I think the grappling for Vieira will be able to get it done in this one. Moving along to the second Bonfim brother on the card. I don't think that he should be a 2-1 favorite, but he will be the pick over Sadiakov. I think that they're setting up Bonfims to win here, as they are very hype prospects coming out of Brazil. And I think that their jiu-jitsu's on another level. So Sadiakov, again, looks to shoot a takedown as the fight gets later. If it gets sloppy, Bonfim's going to wrap it up. I do think that he's the more creative striker too of the two brothers, and I think that he'll be able to have a strong performance here against a tough opponent. So go ahead and give me Bonfim as the pick here. Which brings us to the featured fight of the main card. We have Edmund Shabazian versus Dylan Budka. And while I was not impressed by how Shabazian looked in that second round of the GM3 fight after he absolutely dominated the first round, gassed, and just succumbed to GM3's wrestling and grappling, which is what we've learned to see from GM3 at this point in his career, is to get absolutely dominated and then find a way to pull it out of the fire and get the submission. The question is, will the wrestling of Dylan Budka be able to do the same thing? And I'm going to go ahead and say no. I think Dylan Budka does have some decent wrestling, but nowhere near the same level of jiu-jitsu as GM3. I also think GM3 is the better striker in that fight, if I'm breaking down one between Budka and GM3. So that being said, I'm going to go with Edmund Shabazian here. The line is a little scary for me, but I would not be surprised if he knocks him out. Um, he does have some impressive wins on his careers and a couple of former title holders in different organizations. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and go with Edmund Shabazian as the pick. To the co-main event, we have Calvin Kattar taking on Yusuf Zalal. And while everything in me wants to lay the money on Calvin Kattar at plus 340, I just don't believe he has anywhere near the same dog left in him that Yusuf Zalal has shown on the second run in the UFC. Training out of Factory X Muay Thai, his striking has come to a whole nother level. We already saw the wrestling and grappling implemented for Yusuf Zalal, but it's like he's tougher. He's a different version of himself, and I'm absolutely huge on this version of Yusuf Zalal. I think that this is going to be a stepping stone that launches him into the top 10 of the rankings and maybe get a potential big matchup next for Yusuf Zalal. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and ride my boy again. He cashed me twice last year by the submission. Let's start off 2025 the same way. Yusuf Zalal is going to be the pick. We'll wrap it up by sub. On to the main card, Jared Cannonier versus Gregory Rodriguez. And this is another one that I'm not sure is going to be the same pick at the end of the week, but I am going Jared Cannonier early. Gregory Rodriguez, the younger fighter, which scares me. I'm going a lot with the old veterans in this card, but I think that Cannonier has looked good in the last couple of fights, even though he's lost. I believe that he was winning that fight against Imavov, who now just knocked out Israel Adesanya in the second round. That fight aged very nicely for Cannonier, as he was clearly still standing when the ref stopped it. And a lot of people, not just myself, who did have money on Cannonier that night, may be biased, but I checked myself with other people's opinions online and other respected people in the MMA community. And a lot of people thought that even though Jared Cannonier was on his way to getting knocked out, that was an early stoppage. And I like to trust the wrestling and the survivability of Jared Cannonier. That chin is very strong. Having a win over Sean Strickland, who is a former champion, great fights against Adesanya. I think that Cannonier here can come in and check Gregory Rodriguez, who has shown to slow down as the fights progress. In a 5-rounder, we'll see if he can really hang with Cannonier as it gets into the later rounds. We've seen Rodriguez pull knockouts out too when he's huffing and puffing. So it'll be an interesting fight, and I'm not sold on it. I kind of want to see how the weigh-ins look. So I hate to do it to you guys, but a very low confidence main event pick on this preview and prediction show. I will have a better pick, stronger lean on Friday. But that being said, to start us off, I'm feeling like a dog of the week on Jared Cannonier for the pick in the main event. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there before I give away too much of Friday's video. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Drop a like. Make sure you stay tuned. Turn on post notifications. Like I said, follow me on Instagram at FunkinFlexMMA so you can also see it there when new videos are posted, and as well as the official picks when I finish watching tape and see the weigh-ins this week. I'll make sure that I post those there for you guys as well. I've appreciated all the love and support, and we're going to go ahead and continue the momentum from last week through this week, guys. Any plays that you guys really like this week, go ahead and drop them in the comments, and I will see y'all on Friday.